mentioned almost losing 10k on the watch deal. What was that about?
So yeah, I've nearly lost 10 grand because someone decided that they wanted to take the movement out of this. Now, if you see, like, for all intensive purposes, the watch is fine, right? Like, you look at it, it's it's all good. It looks like it's got the right movement, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is, so you know, like how you have um, these bust down watches, right? So you get like these Nautiluses that are like fully loaded and completely diamond encrusted, right?
Okay, so fully loaded, you mean?
Like diamond encrusted, like iced out, flooded,
Yeah.
fully loaded, um, bust down. Yeah, like they're some of the names, right? What they do is they get a genuine watch like this. So this was 100% genuine, original movement, all good, perfect. Probably they'll look for like a naked watch. So naked, I mean like it doesn't have the box or papers, so it's cheaper. So you can kind of like get a cheaper watch for the money because they don't really care about any of that. Because all they want and all they're looking for is the original movement. So what they do is they take the movement out of here, put it into like an aftermarket or a fake kind of Nautilus where they've fully encrusted it with diamonds. Um, they've manufactured the bracer. They've manufactured aftermarket everything,
So
but the movement is real.
so you'd call it fake,
It is no look. It's sold
but
as
other people will
no
refer to it as aftermarket
aftermarket. Yeah,
as a way to kind of hide the term fake, right?
I, yeah. Like it's not. You know, it's not hiding it, right?
Mm.
Everyone knows it's aftermarket. It's just a nice way of saying it. It's rebranding, right? It's branding it. That's all it is. It's just rebranding it.
So what's wrong with the watch that you're holding?
So basically, that's what's happened. So I was offered this watch. The case is original. The case back is original. The dial is original. Hands are original. Buckle's even original. I've changed the strap just because I like how it looks. But um,
The movement.
the movement was taken out, right? So where the movement's been taken out and put into a the one of these bust down Nautiluses, the movement's not right. Now, even though, like I said, it looks like it's okay, because if you see, like, look, it's got the rotor's engraved, it's got the insignia, it's got all the etchings and markings
So
are right.
to a layman, let's
Yeah,
say
to anyone,
anyone's
even
just gonna be like, looks fine.
yeah, it looks fine.
I'll
Like,
pay. How much would that go for? Let's say.
I
In
would
the
say, look,
current
if you're sending it to a dealer,
like this
something
naked.
something like this, exactly this model, if it was all alright, you'd probably end up paying anywhere from 14,000 ish, right?
And how
14
much
to
is
16.
it worth now, knowing?
No, now it's basically scrap. Like you wouldn't really buy it. It'd be like the weight of the case, or basically like 5 or 6 grand. I'd say like 6 grand, 7 grand, something like that. It's like almost
But
half the
people
price.
still do take them knowingly, right?
I would
Generally,
say
it's people
this.
that are more in the industry.
I would say yeah, someone would buy it because look, there's always still intrinsic value. So there's intrinsic value in the dial, there's intrinsic value in the hands, there's intrinsic value
But
in the
to
case.
but to a retail consumer, it's not worth putting any
Yes
money
and no,
of.
right? Yes and no. Because look, those value that the intrinsic value is still there. Because you're not paying 14 grand for a watch that isn't right. Yeah? If someone's selling this,
Oh yeah.
you're selling it for less as well.
With that
with that
knowledge,
person, no,
yeah.
like I say that as long as you're a good, reputable dealer, right? You'd be selling it with that in mind. But it's like it's scary because it's like you have to have your wits about you, right? And that's why I always say like you've always got to buy from reputable places because look, anyone else who's unscrupulous, they would sell it as an original watch, and you could lose £10,000, if not more.
So how did you?
No, so
You
when
still
I
got
check,
it.
yeah, no, yeah, of course,
You still got it.
I haven't given it back to the person who tried to sell it to me.
Mm.
Yeah, right. And so it's not something I'm buying. It's not something I'm keeping or anything. It's nothing I deal with, but I'm basically holding it for keepsake until they're back to pick it up. But it's I had to highlight this. This is the whole reason, like I've kept it as well, because like it's something the person who offered it to me also didn't know fully what had happened, right?
So they were under the impression.
They were under the impression that everything was real, yeah. So unless they know otherwise, but it's one of those things that I have enough knowledge where I've checked the movement, I've had a look under my microscope, magnification, and yeah, it's not right. And there are some telltale signs.
Even larger firms, they've been caught out by similar things, haven't they?
But yeah, look, everyone gets caught out, right? Every now and again. Like the companies I used to work for, sometimes it happens, right? Like there'll be my rule is don't rush. That's my number one rule.
If it sounds too good to be true.
It normally is, yeah. But like the main thing is that rushing always causes a problem. Like there's not every single person listening to this knows, especially if they're in the trade, right? Anytime you rush, something bad happens. I remember there was like a time where we were buying a Rolex Hulk, and there was something happening. It was rushing going on, and we went through all the processes, but the case back was never taken off. So the watch all looked good. Again, very similar to something like this, but it was a lot harder with a Rolex because the Rolex case backs are solid, so you can't see through them, right? So we had to remove, whenever buying a watch, you always take the case back off to check the movement. And when we removed the movement, it was paid for, we've done the purchase, but because it was rushed, no one checked the movement. At a later date, when it went through the processing to be polished, serviced, cleaned, it was then realised that the watch was not genuine.
So
the movement wasn't genuine, yeah.
Would you say what's worth more, the movement or the
movement?
Oh, it's the movement.
Movement is like for any watch, right? Is like 80% of the value, unless it's gold, right? Then okay, then you have intrinsic value in the weight of gold, right? But I'd say like that's whenever breaking down a watch, the movement and the dial are probably the most expensive parts of it, because the bracelets you can get for cheap, straps you can get for cheap, cases and stuff, like it doesn't cost much in terms of intrinsic value of like machining a case. But yeah, like a case would be after the movement and the dial.
So, and I take it there's a lot more of these going around right now, like generally. There's a lot more popularity with watches.
Well, there's a lot more popularity with like bust downs, right? So there's a lot more bust downs going around. A lot more people selling like the Cartier bust downs with like genuine movements, but aftermarket cases, aftermarket bracelets. Fortunately, it's not really a market that I've ever been involved in or got into. But
if you're ever unsure, it's always worth speaking to someone like yourself.
Always, like just
speak to someone that knows.
Yeah, always. Whenever buying anything, just buy from a reputable source. Like with anything in life, like you're spending huge amounts of money.
Because papers can be faked.
Yeah, everything can be faked, right? Boxes, papers, watches, whatever. But at least you can take solace and know when you're buying a watch from someone who is reputable, you've got to go back. Like anything happens, you can always go back. There's always someone you can go to, speak to. But when you've bought it from Facebook Marketplace, or you've tried to buy it on the cheap, Gumtree, eBay, or I don't know, wherever you've bought it, or like a friend of a friend. Yeah.
Isn't eBay okay?
eBay's alright because they do the authenticity check, but even there, you have to buy again from a reputable store. Because I've seen on eBay that there are listings for like Daytonas, White Dial Panda Daytonas that are the cheapest on there, but they don't go through the authenticity check.
Oh,
so you don't even know.
Added option.
Yeah, well, they only give it to certain dealers on there. Okay. But I think a lot of there's a way to. I think people are finding ways to bypass the authenticity check. So that's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that, you have to be so careful.
So there are steps in place.
Yeah.
Available to consumers.
Yes.
For them to get something more legitimate and to ensure that they've got a good product. And it's better to do that than it is to do anything where there's any room for doubt.
Look, you try and buy, for instance, say you're buying a Rolex sub or whatever it is for 10 grand, right? You're spending 10,000, yeah, that's the market price. You found someone online that you can buy it from for 9, right? So you save yourself a grand. But you found one on eBay for 11, so it's £1,000 more, right? Than what you wanted to spend or your budget, right? I would tell you to spend 11 personally, or reach out to the seller, see if you can get a better deal. Why? Your money's safe. You can get the authenticity check through eBay or through the store, and if it's reputable, you can always return it and go back to.
Yes.
The £9,000 one, yeah. If anything happens, something untoward, the watch turns out to be fake, you don't get the watch, or whatever it is, or even 8,000, you save yourself. You could potentially save yourself 2 grand. Fine, but you could potentially lose 8,000.
Well, yeah, because you could still
That's
get
the
the
risk.
watch, and if it's like
Yeah,
the
or
Patek,
faked, yeah,
and the movement's fake or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Or the movement's real and the case is fake.
Yeah, because if the movement's fake, you've got more to go wrong. It might start losing time.
But
It's
that
not as-
you've
yeah.
lost all your money.
Oh, you've lost your money.
You've
right.
lost your money. That
So,
whether
Yeah,
it
I'm
keeps
trying to
time or
think
not,
that
you're.
if some people who are retailers, they buy it and they just put it on and they're using it because they think it's all legit. For example, you bring the watch
Yeah.
in, you just put the watch on and you just carry on about your time. But then it's still, that whole ignorance is bliss type thing. But the fake movements are nowhere near as good as. There's no comparison to the quality, right? So you're likely to have a watch that doesn't even work the way it's supposed to, even if you don't bother to do it.
Yeah.
So
But
it's
I think
still
that-
a waste of money.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it's sort of like, I think just look. It depends on what you're buying for, right? You definitely can buy it if you want flash for cash, something that looks cool. Fine, do what you want to do, right? That's fine. But just know what you're buying and what purpose it fits. So I think that's the main thing. Is everything is fit for purpose. There is a space for those type of watches. There is even for this, right? There's a space for this. Someone who wants to show that they've got a Patek on their wrist, but doesn't want to take the risk as well of putting in, I don't know, 15 to 18,000 pounds into a watch, but they want to have this type of watch for a lot less. There's always a space for that too, because the watch is genuine. The case, the dial, everything else is genuine. It's just the movement that's not. It still keeps time. It still works. And you're going to keep it forever, but you're only spending, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000, whatever it is, right? So there's a space for that too. So you're getting the look, but you're not putting as much in. But yeah,
there's a very small space.
Yeah, very small.
Majority
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people
No, of
want
course. Yeah, you want the real.
They want their money's worth.
Yeah.
Right? And,
But again, you are getting your money's worth because you're not spending the top end. So again, like I said, you can justify everything. No, of course not. Of course not.
So, yeah.
Of course not. But I think that was just one of those things. You just got to be very careful. So like I would say, like the lesson for today for sure is only buy from reputable stores and reputable places.